Hi! You already know what we're about to do. This is honestly my second time filming this. I had so much trouble trying to get this to be a thing, but we can't always be winners. Like holding it up and doing it, but I have an older laptop, so I'm just gonna try doing it like this and just inserting my imagery in here and see how that works. Okay, so this is going to be my 2022 wrapped in general, but yes, I did include my dating wrapped. It's not really because it's not a lot, but it's in there. So let's get started. Okay, so spiritual. Now for spiritual, we start in January of 2022. Now I was hitting a plateau. Things felt stagnant. I had a spiritual awakening back in 2020. It was rough. I feel like I learned a lot about myself. I feel like, I was on the verge and just more open to healing and growing. But I feel like I was starting to run in circles again by January 2022, and I just didn't feel like anything was happening. In April, I don't know, felt a spirit move about me. The air smelled different, something was just off, and I felt like I need to go and I need to figure this out. So what do I like to do? I like to go to the mountains and I like to do mushrooms, and it kind of just helps me, just expands the brain. I don't know, like Tony Stark or Marvel in general will have the holographic stuff, and it's just the whole little cell, and then they'll be poof, and the cell expands. It's this whole intricate thing. That's how I describe what mushrooms are to me, and it just kind of gives me a sense of direction on what will I be doing next, or I don't know. It just kind of comes to me during that time. So that's what I did. When I did that, I feel the message that kind of came to me in that moment was my brain, my spirit, whatever, letting me know you are more than capable of changing your reality. You have the power to do that. And which is a very powerful message. I didn't really know what that meant, and I got scared. So what do you do when you get scared? When it's time to level up, you self-sabotage. And so that self-sabotage actually put me in a position where now I'm okay, well, let's try something different. So I realized that I had the space and the opportunity to give myself time to invest in myself and invest in me artistically, and anything that I want to do in that space, just to go ahead and do it and kind of just see what happens. I decided to bet on myself. Also, something that has been helpful is that in that space, I just feel I'm allowed to, or I gave myself permission to emotionally regress. And what that means for me is, there's some people who and do it because for traumatic reasons, and it helps them cope with their day-to-day. It's they will dress up as children, they'll do the binky, I think it's just called age regression, and they'll do that whole thing. Adults that like to dress up as babies so they can kind of heal that wound that they had as children, kind of, sort of. But just in my years that I feel were most important to me were my teenage years, that I feel I partly just feel I couldn't have done the way that I wanted to do. And so for me, I feel my body is not this age, but I feel I'm still kind of stuck in my 13 to 20-year-old, that's where I am, just in those teen spaces in those 7 years. And so that's where I'm rocking. It's helpful because I just feel I've been the most expressive as myself. It's really helped me really tap into my heart. It's been helping. And so yeah, I've allowed myself to be the person that I don't think I would have been able to be at the time when it was time to do that. And so it says December, but when I was typing this, it was kind of a right now, and it's kind of more or less the same. So right now, I still have like a long way to go. I've only kind of been like really delving into like myself and like what I like and don't like to do for like 6 months. I'm pretty sure this healing journey is for life though. I definitely am going to keep going, and I understand now that change takes time. It takes like a lot of time. Like, it took me 2 years after my original like spiritual awakening to realize that it's time for me to do something different. Things happen how they happen. But I think I guess kind of a piece of advice. You gotta push through those moments where there's like no instant gratification. And I don't know how to make sense of this, but it's just like, for me, if I'm doing something for a while and there doesn't seem to be any change, then think like, oh, it's not working. And I think before, I used to try hard on things that would not make me happy. Like for me, if I am doing YouTube, for example, I did YouTube and I think I went through like a rut. I think it was like in November, where I just felt like nothing that I was putting out to y'all was hitting. And oh no, like, do I actually like suck? But then I was like, it's fine. I'm just gonna keep going. And I'm glad I did, because my progress might not be a lot to some, but I'm very pleased with my progress. And so you just gotta keep going. Part of it is also like, we're doing this for fun. Profit would be nice, but like, really I'm doing this for me. So I don't know if that made sense. But yeah, that's how I was feeling like December and like nowish. And so I'm also enjoying, back to like the age regression stuff, is like I am enjoying like the process of growing up again, because I don't necessarily like want to stay here. I just want to experience it in my lifetime. So deciding to be like a teenager again and getting that teenage like angst experience, I'm happy to be doing that. Like, I feel good every day when I get up and I dress up and I do whatever I want to do. I'm kind of re-raising myself and kind of taking myself into situations where I have to self-soothe and like where I'm anxious, and for the first time I'm able to just talk myself through like a situation, because I guess acting like a teenager, but like I'm not anymore. So it's just like part of me is able to be like, it's really not that big of a deal, because you do care less when you're like an adult. And so because I do care less, I can navigate and talk myself like through these anxious moments. It's like a safer way for me to I guess I'm retraining my body how to deal with stress and anxiety and like how to navigate the world, if that makes sense. So all right, and now we're at financials. So at the beginning of like January in 2022, I had a job. I had a cute 925, and I was doing really well there. I was making the most money I've ever made at a job, and my checks were starting to get big. It was like a job where it's just like you can get like commission off of, it wasn't like sales, but like it was off the commission. But if you got people to subscribe, then like you get commissions off that. I mean, it wasn't really like a great space like to work in, but it was tolerable enough to where like, and the money was good enough where I was like, okay, I can rock with this. But in April, I got fired, like literally right after I took that trip to the mountains. Like as soon as I got back, I was donezo, crazy. But I did say like change is gonna come, and I feel like I really do feel like that was part of it. The reason was like silly, but it was my fault. I talked back to a customer who got crazy with me. Did they deserve it? Totally. But I lost my job over that. So whatevsies. I started doing DoorDash and Grubhub. I was doing that before, so I already knew how to do it. And so I just like picked it up again just to keep the income going. And I also decided that I think that I was going to do notary work, because I thought it'd just be like DoorDash and Grubhub, but just a lot more money. So that was like my master plan after I lost my job. But in June, I ended up quitting notary work. And it's so funny because I invested like so much money into that. Like, if not 1,000, just a little bit over 1,000. I just realized it was a lot of work. Like, you had to build a clientele, which is like with any like entrepreneurial stuff, like you have to build clientele. But how it was explained to me how I was going to be building clientele, you have to go to these banks and pretty much like woo these people with like, so, you know, you gotta buy people breakfast, you gotta kiss ass, eat ass even. And I was just like, I'm not doing that. If I'm going to do all that, I might as well build a clientele like online, like I've always wanted to do. I'd rather try to become an influencer if I'm gonna put all that work into, you know. So that's when I was just like, I think I just want to be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna be making the money that like I want to make, but if I do this, like if I get into YouTube, start taking the steps to become like an influence and stuff, maybe that is like something that I enjoy doing and is a way to make money. So that's part of the reason why I started doing this, because sure, like, yeah, I think I could definitely turn this into a job. I am enjoying it though while it is not a job, but the money would be nice. But I'm gonna keep going. But yeah, that's just part of the reason why I'm here, why you're seeing my pretty face on the screen today. Trying to be your next socialite, next superstar. And so now I'm still doing DoorDash, Grubhub. I'm actually late for work right now because I had to record this twice. It's okay though, like it's fine. And it's still, yeah, it's still not the money that like I was making before, but I can make decent money like doing this if I know how to work it, at least in my area. I know like not all areas are the same, there are actually better areas than mine. It's money, honey. I just feel like I said before, like I'm gonna keep focusing like on my passions, and I feel like if I go in the direction that I feel is natural to me, which for me is like doing like YouTube, doing like influencer stuff and putting myself out there, I feel like the opportunities will come to me as long as I keep working towards it. And like I said before, I'm in the perfect position in life to do this. I am blessed and privileged to have a parent who is willing to house and home me and financially support me while I'm figuring out how to financially support house and home myself. And lol, okay. So here we are. This is my 2022 dating wrap. It's nothing crazy, but let's get into it. Oh, before we get into it though, if anybody who's watching this on my close friends know these people, no you don't. If you guys end up watching this one day when I become like rich and famous and you're just like, lol, that's me, we don't have to talk about it, we can just laugh about it. So last year I talked to 2 people, and I put I think in parentheses because I'm not sure if who's counting what. In my opinion, we talked, we were romantically connected. Don't try to play me, that happened. And how many dates? So I split them up from person 1 to person 2, since there's only 2. I'm not gonna name names, so no fees, no fees. Anyway, person 1, we went about 4 or 5 dates. I really don't remember, it could have been more or less than that. But I know definitely one was like a movie date, and I'm pretty sure we went like on a couple of like restaurant encounters, dates, so cute. Person 2, we never made it to an official date, but we definitely had very romantic hangouts. Like we went bowling a couple times, we went to the museum, the art museum. I don't know, I just feel like that's a very queer thing, like that's a date, you know what I'm saying? But whatever. We went and we got food and we sat at like a nature park. Very romantic, but like I feel like it'd be like, if you ever fucking say that like this was a fucking date, like I'll fucking kill you. I feel like that's like their energy about it. Like it's just like, okay. They also paid for everything, so I'm just like, it's for dates. Anyway, occupation. So person 1 was a stylist. Person 2, they were a preschool teacher, which I resonated with because I used to be a preschool teacher. Thought that was very cute. But now they do like insurance stuff. So, you know, good for them. Money opportunities, good for you. Their signs. Person 1 was a Leo. I don't have a lot of interactions with Leos, at least not knowingly. I think I know one other Leo now. Oh wait, no. Actually, I think they're Libra. Forget I said that. But this person, last time I had an interaction with a Leo, like it was very exciting, it was very fun. This one, like she was fun, but like, you know, very chill. Maybe because they're an August Leo? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. Person 2 is a Cancer, and if you had seen my previous video on TikTok about like my type, like the type pyramid that people were doing, you know that like that ranks very low. That's like the very bottom of my pyramid. I want you to know that it keeps happening. Like I don't know how to stay away from them. At the same time, like it's my least, but it's also like mostly common attracted to, or at least right now. So where did we meet? Person one and I actually met like 2 years ago, and we had like met about 2 times before we actually started talking. So in 2020 we met on Hinge. We met up, smoked together, and then we never spoke to each other again until about a year later when we matched again on Her, and they were like, LOL, I forgot to text you back. And I was like, And we spoke for a couple days, and then they ghosted me. So, and then finally at the beginning of 2022, it was a little bit before that, but in 2022 January, I had posted it. We matched again on Tinder, and I had posted a song, one of my songs on there. They were like really into that, and then they like apologized again for like bailing on me. And I was like, dude, like whatever, like if you want to talk to me, talk to me. If you don't, you can leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? So I guess that's when it was like, okay, I guess I'll try. We're just try. Me and person number 2, we also met on Hinge, literally like New Year's Eve of 2021. We didn't like meet up, but like we started like messaging each other and like all that. So how long did we laugh? Both like equally time period was like 3 months, but we don't need to talk about that, about when was when and what was what. But yeah, cute 3 months. Cute 3 months for both. How we end, I'm gonna give it to person 1 on this one. I'm gonna say that they kind of fills it out on me. I really just don't think they were into it, and I wasn't into it as much as like I wanted to be, the attention and talking to somebody, so it's fair. And really pretty much I saw them post another chick in a sexual manner, and I was like, oh, I guess we're not talking anymore. Person 2, it actually ended twice. So 2 months after we were talking, I was like, oh, you're actually like really fucking mean to me, and it doesn't make sense, so maybe we should talk anymore. Because they were like, I know that I'm mean to you, and I understand that it hurts your feelings, but I feel like I should be able to be mean to you if I want to, because I'm just the type of person to be mean to people. And I was like, no. And so I cut them off. But then like 2 months later, I took them back. And so remember earlier when I said like I self-sabotaged after like I realized like my true purpose in life? That was a self-sabotage. That was cute for like 2 weeks, and then like pretty much like a month after we started talking again, I ended up blocking them. But they check in some way, somehow. Birds, crows, smoke signals. Back to like my type pyramid, I have highlighted the areas where these people kind of like met in. So this is how they fared. Someone also asked me when I first posted that video, how am I kind of in the top and or kind of in the bottom, or what if I have one but not the other? These are just preferences. They're not absolutes. Like I'm not gonna date somebody because they're not tall. I'm not gonna date someone because they're light skinned. I'm like not gonna date somebody like if they're not tatted or if they don't have locks. Like it's this is just like what is visually pleasing to me, or most pleasing to me. Is just take it with a grain of salt. Like you'll see me with everybody. But so person number 1, dark skin, no label. We love that. That's up there on the top. Good stuff. They had elements from the second row, locks. I never found out if they were tatted, if you know what I mean. Never got that chance to figure that out. Emotionally available though. But actually I don't, because it's just like, I feel like they were just emotionally unavailable for me, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's just like how I felt about them overall. Like I said, it's just we just weren't compatible. It just wasn't mixing. It's no tea, no shade. It's just like I just don't think that was for either of us. I think like we'd probably be cordial, but it's just like it's not that deep. But person number 2, it was that deep for me. because they had all elements of the top of the pyramid. We loved that. We loved that. When I say like no label, I just like, you know, expressing both of those sides equally and presently, and it's just like you can't really say which way they lean, and it's just us. I don't know what it is. I like that. Anyway, all elements. But if you look on the bottom section, emotionally unavailable. And now this one, I will not say like I feel like they were emotionally available, they just didn't want me. No. Part of the reason why I just broke it off with them was because I saw like how they treated other people who they were talking to, and I was like, that's you're mean. Like, you're doing mean stuff right now. But this is where I'm going to meet them with compassion, because I feel like based on the interaction that we had, I think they're a hurt person, and I believe that hurt people. It's no excuse for them to be an asshole. What I do know is that I can't really control what they do. I could control what I do, and I got the fuck out of there. I went back, but then I got the fuck out of there. And they just also happen to be a water sign. And I just feel like, I know I say that water signs are like the worst of the worst of the worst, but I still end up there. So I feel like I always give you guys the benefit of the doubt. It's just most times than not, it's poopy. I believe in you. Like, I would still date a water sign. I would just have like high reservations about it. Like, because it's just always poopy. It's always poopy, and I don't think that it means to be poopy. But yeah, that emotional unavailability, that was ugly. I had a fun time with this person. I actually, believe it or not, like, it was horrible, but it was also great at the same time. Even when we met, it was horrible. Not horrible, but like, I knew that like this could be really bad, or this could be like really fun and also bad. It ended up just being like more bad than it was fun. And I was like, it's just not worth it. Like, it wasn't fun enough to take the bad. It should never be. But it was just I'm disappointed that it didn't work out. I knew it wasn't gonna work out, but it was just like, we could have had fun. All it had to be was fun. But yeah, it didn't work out. And so what now? After person 2, I really noticed that like I was really interested in person 2 more so than person 1, because they like sparked that sense of toxicity in me, and it wasn't I don't think it's in a good way, but like it felt like it was in a good way, but I knew that was very bad of me. And I was very surprised that like, even though like I knew like even if I go back to this person, it's probably still gonna suck, and I chose to do that anyway. Like, I consciously chose that. There was like no, I just realized that there was just something inside of me that's just like, we gotta work on that. So I decided like, hey, why don't we take a year and just not with anybody. And so I've just been just not interacting romantically since June. Romantically celibate and sexually. But yeah, so and the intentions for 2023, again, I stopped dating. I said I wasn't gonna date for like a year, and so that's what I have been doing, been sticking to that, been doing the work. I will not be open to dating until June of this year, but what I do want to make sure when I get there is that I'll be ready to accept love in whatever form that it comes. And what that means for me is just like, I get it now though with avoidant people, the whole idea of just like not wanting to get in a relationship because you don't want to. People feel like they're losing like their sense of freedom, like they can't do all the things that they can do, and I get that now because I feel like I've built such a system for myself. I really feel like I've rebuilt my sense of self, that I really don't want anybody coming and like messing it up by demanding like my attention. And I know that like it doesn't have to be like that. And I know that like it's possible to, be involved with somebody and still be able to live your life. So I want to be open to that when I get there. But I feel like it might be challenging for me after spending so much time by myself, elevating the way that I've been elevating by myself, and then have someone who may not depend on me somewhat emotionally, you know what I'm saying? maybe you do, maybe you don't, but that's how I feel. I just want to be open to that. Like, I want to be able to be open to navigating that and see like how I feel about that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Leave your thoughts and comments down below. What'd you think about it? And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.